Hi, my name's Eric. I'll be reading you selections from the e-edition of today's Cape Cod Times. Today's date is Wednesday, July 3rd of 2024. This will be a half-hour reading. We'll start with the weather. Across the Cape and Islands today, you can expect a gorgeous day. Partly sunny, pleasant, high of 81, not too humid, and beautiful morning into the afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 65 in the overnight. Tomorrow for the 4th of July, it'll be breezy, humidity will return, clouds and sun, no rain expected, high of 79, low of 68. On Friday, a morning shower is expected, then rain and drizzle throughout the day, high of 82, low of 71. Saturday looks to be cloudy and humid with thunderstorm in spots, high of 80, low of 71. And Sunday, much warmer, high of 85, low clouds, breezy and humid. So humid weekend, but the next couple of days, including tomorrow, shouldn't be too bad. It will be more humid tomorrow than today. Today's the best day of the week. The sunrise will happen at 5:12 a.m. It will set at 8:19 p.m. We will have 15 hours, 7 minutes of daylight. The moon will rise at 2:36 a.m. and set at 6:44 p.m. Now, we'll head to the front of the paper where the news and the lottery results are kept. And we read the lottery results because, well, somebody asked for them. If there's something you would like read to people who are blind or print disabled, you can call us at 508-539-2030 and make a suggestion, or you can go to info@audiblelocalledger.org. Send us an email at that address, and we'll consider reading it. And if you miss any of the information that we share in our readings, you can always go to audiblelocalledger.org. In the upper right corner is the Archived Readings tab. Click on that, you'll find a week's worth of our newspaper readings so you can catch up on anything that you might have missed. Our shopping guides are kept there as well. So, what's on sale at the grocery store can be yours for free at audiblelocalledger.org. For the latest results in the lottery, we go to masslottery.com because the Cape Cod Times goes to press too early to give you the latest results. And if you asked for them, you certainly deserve the latest. So for the numbers game of Tuesday, July 2nd, yesterday's midday drawing numbers were 7, 9, 4, 9. Yesterday's midday drawing, 7, 9, 4, 9. In the evening drawing of the numbers game for Tuesday, July 2nd, the results were 1, 5, 1, 5. Again, last night's evening drawing results were 1, 5, 1, 5. Mass cash for Tuesday, July 2nd, 13, 21, 23, 29, and 34. Mega Millions for Tuesday, July 2nd, 4, 8, 19, 31, and 45, with 11, the bonus number. And Lucky for Life rounds out our lottery results for Tuesday, July 2nd, with 9, 15, 18, 28, and 34, with 3, the bonus number. Good luck to all who play. Remember us if you win. From the cover, "The fight is not over," reads the headline. Barnstable ends pause on easements to land wind farm cables at beach, by Heather McCarran. Barnstable has forged a supplemental agreement with Avangrid Renewables related to its 791-megawatt New England Wind 1 project, formerly called Park City Wind, ending a pause that the town council put on granting easements last fall and opening a path forward. The additional terms included as a side agreement, quote-unquote, to the previously penned host community agreement were announced at the June 27th Town Council meeting after weeks of executive sessions. The unveiling touched off mixed reactions, from anger and disappointment to words of support from residents gathered to hear the presentation, which was tacked on at the start of the meeting before the customary public comment section in order to give residents a chance to weigh in. Town Attorney Karen Nober said under the side agreement, which was executed last week, the town will provide the company with the easements to power transmission cables at Craigville Beach, and then route them under the Centerville River and to a new proposed substation at the former Knights Inn site on Chute Flying Hill Road by way of the village's Main Street. A plan that's left many villagers upset and worrying about how it will affect their businesses, library, museum, and historic homes along the route. Also, as part of the agreement, she said the town will receive significant additional protections and benefits. The added agreement comes after the council last October voted unanimously to postpone officially signing off on the easements over uncertainty about the project's status. That action followed the company's decision to withdraw because of changed market conditions from its negotiated power purchase agreement in Connecticut in favor of a new contract under better terms through the current multi-state bidding process. Nober said the terms of the side agreement were presented to the council in executive session on June 13th, and the members voted 7-5 to direct town manager Mark Ells to finalize and enter into the supplemental pact. Council President Felicia Penn, councilors John Crow, Betty Ludke, Craig Tamash, and Kristen Turkelson all voted against the agreement, while councilors Charles Bloom, Seth Burdick, Chris Clark, Matthew Levesque, Jeffrey Mendez, Paula Schnepp, and Gordon Starr supported it. Councilor Paul Neary was not present for the vote. For now, the easements will be placed in escrow pending the company receiving a bid award in the multi-state procurement, Nober said. Awards are anticipated in August. Release of the easements is also subject to Park City Wind's parent company, Avangrid Renewables, providing a corporate guarantee, at which point, but not until then, Park City Wind may record the easements, she said. Nober noted that in the last year or so, Barnstable residents and businesses have raised a host of concerns about the Park City Wind project and its potential impacts, some of which weren't anticipated when the host community agreement was originally negotiated. The delay in the project resulting from the company's withdrawal from its previous contract, she explained, created an opportunity for the town to go back to Park City Wind to see if we could address some of those concerns. Last November, the town retained outside legal services from the Boston firm Anderson & Krieger to assist in negotiations with the company. The resulting side agreement, she said, addresses many of the concerns raised by Barnstable residents and businesses. Colin Van Dyke, a managing partner at Anderson & Krieger, outlined the provisions of the side agreement at the June 27th council session. Park City Wind has made significant additional commitments to give the town more clarity, more control, more reasons to be confident that it'll be protected from anticipated and unanticipated impacts from the project, he said. Some of the provisions are: bullet point, the company will compensate businesses and cultural institutions along the project route that are negatively impacted by the project based on reasonably demonstrated financial losses directly associated with Park City Wind's construction activities within 200 feet of the affected establishment when the construction activities prevent access to guests and customers. Bullet point, the company will pay the town a lump sum of $16 million when it closes on construction financing for the project, instead of spreading that over the 25-year life of the project. Bullet point, the company will provide $5.5 million to the town to improve roadways and sidewalks along the public ways impacted by the project, and it will provide another $2.4 million to cover additional sewer construction costs the town may incur to ensure that there's adequate separation between the town sewer lines and the transmission lines. Bullet point, Avangrid Renewables LLC, the project's parent company, will provide a guarantee of up to $30 million for payments or reimbursements required by the host community agreement. Bullet point, before the easements are awarded, the company must receive a bid award, and the guarantee from Avangrid Renewables has to be delivered to the town. If a bid award is not granted by December 15th of 2026, which is the date when the company's Energy Facilities Siting Board approval expires, the easements will automatically terminate. Also, if a bid award is granted and the easements are released, but the construction has not commenced by December 15th of 2026, the easements will terminate. The side agreement also has to be ratified and approved by the Avangrid Renewables Board. Residents responded. Public opinions about the side agreement are sharply divided. Resident Pete Sampu is among those who support the project, pointing at offshore wind as an important component of the state and nation's climate change response. Having it come ashore in Barnstable, he said, is a big win for our town and all the benefit it will bring to us. Resident Cliff Carroll is among those who continue to worry about plans to build a substation that would store hundreds of thousands of gallons of dielectric transformer oils over a sole source aquifer and uphill from many homes on private wells, a backup well field, and Lake Wakaket. I think it's almost disgusting, this outcome, but we're going to keep fighting, Carroll said. The town just handed them the keys to the city. This is becoming the town of Avangrid, he said. Awful. Suzanne Conley called the side agreement a gut punch and said it feels as though the town has sold out the health and safety of the people of Barnstable and told Avangrid to go ahead and take Craigville Beach, one of the biggest economic drivers of this town. The fight is not over, she vowed. A few of the town councilors responded after hearing from residents on June 27th. Councilor Chris Clark said she came to her decision not for a lack of investment of time and energy, but that I feel that this is the best way forward, and I salute the negotiators for the town of Barnstable who did a magnificent job of leveraging some benefits for the town that weren't on the table prior to that. Fellow councilor Matthew Levesque said that he appreciates the council members' courage to vote the way they did because it wasn't an easy decision to make, and I believe that everybody tried to do the best they could with the facts that were put in front of them. Councilor John Crow is among those on the council who feels the agreement is not a win. This is a travesty. It's a complete failure of public policy from here to Boston, in my opinion. These substations don't have to land, and the power lines don't have to land on beaches, he said. He also feels the town's getting fleeced with a promise of $16 million. He pointed at an agreement between Sunrise Wind and Brookhaven, Long Island that gave that community $170 million over the life of the project. It's just a shame all around. We're taking the cheapest way out. Avangrid is doing that, getting the cheapest route from where they're coming, Crow said. Councillor Betty Lutke agreed while emphasizing that she's not against renewable energy, but rather has been disappointed in the process. I think we've given away our treasure, and I agree we've handed them this contract on a silver platter, she said, going on to add, it's been flawed since day one. That's why I voted no on it. I think it's a flawed agreement, and I'm sorry. Again, we just always seem to be rushing toward this, rushing towards mediocrity. In a statement following the unveiling of the side agreement, Avangrid CEO Pedro Azagra said company leaders are proud of the company's productive and long-standing working relationship with the town of Barnstable, and we're pleased to reaffirm the host community agreement that ensures the town and the entire region will benefit from the development of our New England Wind 1 project. The side agreement, the company said, provides several additional direct benefits to the town of Barnstable. Community mitigation efforts towards future construction of the New England Wind 1 project, and robust health and safety measures for construction and then operation of the project. There is an editorial note. We will not be printing a paper on Thursday, July 4th. You can always find the latest news on our website, mobile app, newsletters, and social media. Subscribers can access an e-newspaper by going to the website, clicking on e-newspaper in the black navigation bar. Tomorrow we will have holiday programming going on throughout the day, a combination of fiction and plays and radio plays and readings around the 4th of July and our country's independence. Moving inside the paper, Jared Reviza, court-ordered mental health evaluation to be extended, by Zane Razak. A 26-year-old Martha's Vineyard man accused of stabbing 4 girls at a Braintree movie theater will remain at Bridgewater State Hospital for evaluation. A court-ordered mental health evaluation of Jared Reviza of Chilmark has been extended after a competency hearing at Plymouth District Court on Monday, according to the clerk's office. Reviza is next up for a status review on July 17th. Revisa faces 4 counts of assault to murder and 4 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon in Quincy District Court in connection with the May 25th stabbing of 4 girls at an AMC Braintree Theater. Revisa was also arraigned in May at Plymouth District Court on 1 count of assault to murder, 2 counts of assault and battery, and indecent exposure in connection with the May 25th stabbing of a 21-year-old woman and a 29-year-old man who were employees at a rest area McDonald's inside the Route 3 park and ride in Plymouth. State police located and pursued Revisa's car, which crashed in Sandwich. He was taken into custody and to the hospital for treatment about 7:15 that day. All people injured suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Connecticut State Police previously said charges are pending for Revisa in connection with the homicide of 70-year-old Bruce Feldman. According to the Vineyard Gazette, court officials said an arrest warrant had been issued out of Connecticut on charges of murder, criminal mischief, and 2 counts of animal cruelty. A spokesperson for Connecticut State Police told the Times in an email the case remains active and there is no further information to release. From the Cape and Islands section, as we keep it local, humpback calf freed from rope by a Cape group, right whale calf, not yet, by Heather McCarran. A humpback whale calf is swimming freely now thanks to the effort of marine animal rescuers from the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown. The team successfully freed the young whale, estimated to be about 5 months old, of fishing rope on June 27th off the coast of Gloucester. The rescue came 2 days after whale watch vessels first observed the calf and its mother Scylla off Provincetown just before sunset June 25th. After the pair was again spotted off Gloucester, multiple vessels stayed nearby while the center's team made the 45-mile trip from Provincetown, said team director Scott Landry. The team is authorized to attempt disentanglement under a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration permit. When they arrived, the team found Scylla's calf with wraps of buoy line around its body, Landry said. The calf wasn't able to shed that on its own, and that likely would have killed it over time. When they're nursing, they grow very quickly, so it doesn't take long for the gear to grow into the calf's body, Landry explained. Cutting the rope went really well, and much better than the team would have expected given that they were dealing with a very young calf whose mother was nearby. Mothers can get very uptight when boats approach, Landry said. Luckily, Scylla was very busy feeding, and the team was able to move in very cautiously and reach in with a 30-foot pole and cut the ropes. Mom didn't seem to notice we had done anything, but the baby did. I'm guessing it called out to her because she briefly came and took the calf away, but then began feeding again, Landry said. The team got most of the rope off the calf, but had to leave a small piece in the calf's mouth, which had become lodged in its baleen, a comb-like tissue along the upper jaw of humpbacks and other baleen whales. Landry said the calf should be able to shed the remaining rope on its own. At this age, they're starting to figure out, oh, my mouth can do these other things. So they're practicing learning to use their mouths. We hope that in the next couple of days, someone will report back there is no longer rope in its mouth, he said. The last time the team came close to Scylla was in 2020 in response to an entanglement she had picked up. She also showed signs of having been very recently entangled herself when the team came to help her baby. She was able to shed the rope on her own, but her wounds, Landry said, were still bloody. For the whales, it's a nightmarish situation, he said. They don't have the tools that we have. They don't have opposable thumbs. They don't have teeth. They don't have knives. The fact that Scylla had been entangled more than once and now her young calf after just a few months of life just gives people the sense these are not uncommon things. It's multi-generational and it's multiple times in their lives, Landry said. We have nothing against fishing, but our dependence upon rope has made it very difficult for whales. The center acknowledged help from the whale watch vessels Aurora, Sanctuary, Privateer 4, Whale Watcher, and Sea Salt. Apart from Scylla's calf, another young whale, the 2023 calf of the North Atlantic right whale matriarch known as War, was also recently spotted with an entanglement further north. Research scientists with New England Aquarium Anderson Cabot Center for Ocean Life were part of a team that spotted the whale in the Gulf of St. Lawrence on June 22nd, according to the aquarium. The whale had rope through its mouth, across its back, around its right flipper, and trailing behind. The female yearling was previously seen on February 16th off the southeast United States without the entanglement. It's not known where her entanglement occurred. Researchers were able to attach a telemetry buoy to the trailing line to keep track of the whale's location by satellite, and Canada's Department of Fisheries and Oceans was informed. The tagged whale is being closely monitored, and disentanglement efforts are underway and will continue as weather permits, the aquarium reported on June 26th. According to the aquarium, War and all 7 of her known offspring have collectively experienced at least 9 entanglements and a vessel strike injury. The young right whale's predicament highlights the critical need to maintain forward momentum on the implementation of modified fishing gear throughout the whale's range in Canada and the U.S., said Amy Knowlton, a senior scientist at the Anderson Cabot Center. Boaters are asked to report any entanglement sightings of whales, sea turtles, or other marine animals at 1-800-900-3622 or the U.S. Coast Guard on VHF 16, and to stand by the animal at a safe distance until trained responders arrive. There is a photo of a ceremony taking place in several photos, and the caption reads, "Outgoing Harwich Police Chief David Guillemette, right, sitting on the right, looks on as Nicole Considine, third from left, pins the chief badge onto the uniform of her husband, Kevin Considine. Considine was sworn in as the new Harwich Police Chief on Tuesday morning, and their children Michael and Abigail joined their parents on stage, as did former Harwich Special Officer Bob Curry. Curry was Kevin Considine's high school teacher in Franklin and credited with encouraging Considine's interest in becoming a police officer. Congratulations and thank you for your service, Police Chief Guillemette. Welcome, Police Chief Considine." We're going to move to a different kind of local news in our reading. This is a half-hour reading of the Cape Cod Times, and at the midway point, we normally move to the obituaries. In a half-hour reading, we have finished all the local news, and we will finish with some obituaries and some national news. The first obituary in the Cape Cod Times, dated Wednesday, July 3rd of 2024, is of John Francis O'Connor, Jr., who passed on May 24th at the age of 80. Jack was born October 2nd, 1943 in Worcester and attended Shrewsbury High School before enlisting in the Navy in 1960 as a young man. Jack served as a signalman on the USS Cowell, DD 547 in the Pacific during the early days of the Vietnam conflict. Jack obtained his GED while in the Navy. He was released from active duty in September of 1964, honorably discharged from service after 2 years in the Naval Reserves on October 17th of 1966. Mr. O'Connor, thank you for your service and sacrifice for our country. Returning home after military service, Jack embarked on a distinguished career in law enforcement. Upon returning home, Jack obtained his associate's degree with honors in criminal justice from Babson College. After completing training at the Mass Police Academy, he was employed as a patrol officer with the Auburn Police Department. He transferred to the Oxford Mass Police Department, where he attained the rank of detective sergeant. Though he worked on varied cases and many in an undercover capacity, Jack was most proud of having saved the lives of 2 young men. In cold weather, the boys had capsized their canoe and were in danger of drowning. They were saved when Jack happened to be driving by, saw the boys, dove into the freezing water in full uniform, and brought them safely to shore. For his valor, Jack received numerous honors praising his heroism. After a serious accident while on duty in his police cruiser, Jack suffered injuries that caused him to retire from law enforcement work. He and his wife Sandy relocated to their home in Brewster on Cape Cod, where the second chapter in Jack's life began. Jack happily dove into life on Cape Cod. He worked at the family school in Brewster and in a Brewster flower shop owned by his daughter Sandy. He spent several happy summers on the ocean from the Great South Channel to Gloucester, chasing giant bluefin tuna with his son-in-law, his son John, and his grandchildren. On good days, he harpooned a giant bluefin to his profound delight. He is survived by his former wife and the mother of his children, Sandra M. O'Connor, and many who will miss him dearly. Per his wishes, Jack will be interred at the Massachusetts National Cemetery in Bourne. The burial will be private. Any donations in Jack's name may be made to the Mass Audubon Society at Wellfleet Bay in Massachusetts. The other obituary in today's Cape Cod Times of July 3rd is of Rita Mara of Centerville, who, at the age of 98, passed at her home on July 1st. Rita was born in Rumford, Maine. Her family moved to Brockton when she was 4, where she was a graduate of Brockton High School, with the class of 1943 a year ahead of her classmates. Rita was an accomplished pianist and bridge player. She was predeceased by her loving husband of 56 years, John E. Mara, in 2006. Together, they raised their family of 5 boys in Needham, Massachusetts, lived a few years in Washington, D.C. before retiring to their favorite, Cape Cod. In their Centerville, Mass. Community, all the neighbors would host round-robin dinners. For many years, Rita and Jack volunteered at the Elder Services of Cape Cod, delivering meals on wheels. They both loved to square dance in their senior years. Rita and her late husband, Jack, loved to travel. She is survived by many family and friends. A devout Catholic, she attended Mass daily until her health prevented her from continuing to do so. In lieu of flowers, donations may be made in Rita's name to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, 501 St. Jude Place in Memphis, Tennessee, 38105, or stjude.org/donate. A massive Christian burial will be held in Our Lady of Victory Church at 230 South Main Street in Centerville at 11 a.m. on Friday, July 5th. That's this Friday. Burial will follow in Mass National Cemetery in Bourne. And that concludes the obituaries and death notices that are listed in today's Cape Cod Times, dated Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. We'll close with a little bit of finance news. Fed's Powell says more data is needed before rate cuts. From Sintra, Portugal, the U.S. is back on a disinflationary path, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said on Tuesday, but policymakers need more data before cutting interest rates to verify that recent weaker inflation readings provide an accurate picture of the economy. Data from May showed the Fed's preferred measure of inflation didn't increase at all that month, while the 12-month rate of price increases has ebbed to 2.6%. Still above the U.S. Central Bank's 2% target, but on the way down after a scare in the first months of the year. We just want to understand that the levels that we're seeing are a true reading on what's actually happening with underlying inflation, Powell said at a monetary policy conference in Portugal that was sponsored by the European Central Bank. I think the last reading and the one before it suggest that we're getting back on the disinflationary path, Powell said. But we want to be more confident that inflation is moving sustainably down toward 2%. Powell would not comment on when U.S. rate cuts might begin, but acknowledged the Fed has entered a sensitive phase in its deliberation in which the risks to its inflation and employment goals have come back much closer to balance, meaning neither can take full priority in setting policy. In particular, some closely watched measures of the job market suggest the U.S. economy might be at a point where further progress on inflation will involve the sort of trade-offs with rising unemployment that the Fed has so far avoided. You can't know that with precision, Powell said, but it is understood that we have two-sided risks. The U.S. unemployment rate's been at or below 4% for more than 2 years, which is a fact that many Fed policymakers have used to argue for patience in deciding when to cut the central bank's benchmark policy rate. And with that, we've come to the end of our reading of today's Cape Cod Times, dated Wednesday, July 3rd of 2024. Hope you all have a very safe Fourth. May the 4th be with you. And this is your reader, Eric, saying be well, be safe, look after each other. Remember our veterans, especially those who have passed recently. Bye for now.